Welcome back to another Bitcoin news segment. I am How to Buy Bitcoin, and today we're going to talk about Tether CTO refuting stablecoin fund as short seller circle. Paolo Ardoino, I think he's Italian, he says that hedge funds are trying to create pressure in the billions to harm Tether liquidity so that they can eventually buy back tokens at a much lower price. So what he's saying is that hedge funds have been borrowing Tether, shorting it against other stablecoins to cause panic and then buy back at a lower price. But why would he say that? Because when I hear something about this, it makes me want to short Tether, honestly. Very little risk of downside, and if Tether does collapse, you can profit with the crash. Something that happened with Terra Luna, with the UST. Here is his post. I have been open about the attempts from some hedge funds that were trying to cause further panic on the market after Terra Luna collapsed. It seemed from the beginning a coordinated attack with a new wave of FUD, throw arms, clowns, etc. Okay, it only makes me more inclined to not hold Tether. Because if Tether is so fragile that some hedge funds could come together and short the market and then Tether would simply be out of liquidity, what does that mean? So it means that they don't have enough money, or why are you saying this? And then he goes on to say that notions that it is not 100% backed, is issuing tokens from thin air, has significant exposure to distressed companies and Chinese commercial paper. So it's all a lie, according to him. But, I've seen some interviews from this guy, and he does not give me very much confidence in Tether. If Tether is so good, why just not show everyone where the money is? Because here's the thing. If Tether is actually backed and they have $1 for each USDT, why not let the short sellers, short the price, it goes down to 50 cents, and then you buy back? Tether could buy back their own tokens if they have the money. They would just profit. So why is Tether so afraid of this? Or in other words, they don't have enough money if all the market makers, all the people who issued USDT tokens, if they decide to redeem those tokens, maybe Tether does not have enough money right now. And I think this is the most important news of the day. I will be covering other topics as well, but that's something to keep in mind. And actually, I just made a video yesterday about the margin trading on Binance, where you could short one stablecoin against the other. So if you are interested in knowing how you can short Tether in the case of a collapse, you could actually profit by using Binance margin. If you still don't have a Binance account, you can sign up with the link below. It's the best referral code, 20% discount. Yeah, actually, now that I read this, I will probably change from Tether to BUSD on my Binance account, because this is not looking too safe for me. 5 reasons why Bitcoin could bottom at 10,000. And I have to say, I kind of agree with this price target. I think 10,000 would make sense as a bottom, because we haven't seen yet the giant capitulation that we've seen in the other bear markets. I was there in 2017, and if we see the charts from the other bear cycles, they always end with some apocalyptic collapse. And yes, Bitcoin fell a lot. I still don't think we've seen the final panic. Here we have a nice comparison between this bear market and the bear market from 2017. If things are to become similar, we still have a long way to go down, which could take us to around 10,000. Of course, I don't expect the price to go exactly like the last bear market. It's a different time. The Fed is raising rates. Actually, it could be worse than the last bear market, or it could be a little bit better. And in this other chart, using the 200 weekly moving average and the 14-week RSI in the bottom here, we see that the Bitcoin never has been so low. So maybe we could see the price going up as a retrace because it's oversold, or it means that Bitcoin could go a lot further down because we just lost this support. And he argues that the final capitulation, the final capitulation, we may need to see a bit more pain before sentiment really bottoms out. And I kind of agree with that. I don't think we've seen that giant crazy wick down to 10K and back. And that's when you'll say, okay, this was the bottom. And I don't think we've seen that yet. And here's a long-term chart with the Fed rising rates and what happened with the price. And you can see here, the Fed now is raising much higher because the inflation in the US, and not only in the US, but in the whole world, is getting out of control. So they kind of have to raise rates further. So you have to keep that in mind. 10,000 might not even be the bottom. We can go even lower depending on how the Fed will react. And I think it's kind of ridiculous that crypto in general and the stock markets and everything in the financial system depends on the words of one guy to control the direction of the markets. But it is what it is. We need to pay attention to what the Fed is doing. And the final chart in this article, it tells you about the supply in profit. So the number of long-term holders in percentage that are in profit. And the lower it goes, that's the closest to the bottom. And according to this chart, we still have another leg down before we can actually start recovering. So I do kind of agree with this article. I don't know exactly if it's going to be 10,000, maybe 12,000, maybe 8,000. I think around this level should be a very interesting buy. And that's why I say keep some cash on the side. And when it goes to 10,000, if it goes there or around that area, then that's when you start buying over time. Don't buy everything at once, buy over time. And then when we finally get this confirmation that it is kind of bottoming out, that's when we can use a little leverage to make a really nice long position and profit a lot. But the timing is really tricky. Anyway, today I talked way too much, so just leave a like and I will see you in the next Bitcoin news segment.